Ready? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's virtual in-person event. It was scheduled to be live, but unfortunately, circumstances are against us. But we are here this afternoon for the launch of the Hello Tourist Program 24, or as I will refer to it, HTP 24. Today is also World Tourism Day, celebrated every year on the 27th of September. It is a time when people all around the world pause to focus on tourism and the role it plays in our lives on various levels. The theme for this year's World Tourism Day appears on the screen. It is World Tourism Day 2023, Green Investments, investing in people, planet, prosperity. We shall call them the 3 Ps. So what are they? Can you repeat them for me? People, planet, prosperity. If we examine the 3 Ps a little more closely, we will see that the theme is about investing in 3 types of resources: our human resources, people; our environmental resources, planet; and our monetary or fiscal resources, prosperity. The word invest calls us to pay into these elements with the expectation that we will receive a return on investment in the future, which will make our expenditure worthwhile. It is our duty and responsibility as leaders of this present age to provide the frameworks within which we can explore investments that are greener, more sustainable, more inclusive, more resilient, and most importantly, most beneficial to our people, who are our most precious resource. By harnessing education, investment, innovation, and technology, and teaching our children the importance of protecting the rights and resources of our nation, we can effectively transform the livelihoods of generations of Anguillians, whilst at the same time preserving our natural environment and safeguarding our traditions and heritage as a people. In so doing, we can see tourism continue to serve as an effective tool for the national development of our nation and of our people as a whole. So you may be asking, why are we here? Why now? As I told you before, today is World Tourism Day, and tourism is our main industry. Fishing is a distant second in terms of possible industries on Anguilla. Tourism employs more than 80% of our labor market. It is effectively the engine that drives our economy. And you will most likely end up working in the tourism industry in years to come. It is important that we prepare you for the role that you will have to play. You have to be prepared to take your place, because if tourism fails, your job, your income, the way you live your life, your lifestyle will be affected. And the most important point, that today you sit here as students, but in 2029, you who are the class of 2024 will be the labor force of 2029. And so we have to make sure that you are prepared. So let us look a little closer at the theme and Anguilla. Tourism is under threat by external forces like wars, climate change, disease, and pollution. We all remember COVID-19, don't we? Right, when the entire tourism industry shut down, people were not traveling. The threat remains real. It could happen again. But we are also under threat from internal forces like violence and crime. Our policies, therefore, need to be more sustainable and beneficial to our people. Our focus must shift to education and development, innovation and technology. Money for investments continues to remain limited, so investments must be geared towards people, planet, and prosperity. Your question might be, but how do we do this? I cannot answer that question for you today. Someone from government will respond to that. We have an entire ministry dedicated to issues of sustainability, the environment, and innovation. And our government today has pledged to spend more of its monies on ensuring that our economy is developed in a way that will be beneficial to you and to future generations of Anguillians for years to come. What I would like to do right now is share with you how we are responding or seeking to respond to the first P, people. Through the HTP 24, which is a program which was specially designed for you as you prepare to cross over from primary education into secondary education. We at the Education Department saw it fit to develop a special program that will speak to your needs in education and training for this industry. The timing is right because your educational framework is about to change. The way you do education is about to change. This is your last year sitting in a classroom with students who you have gone through school with all your life, sitting with one teacher dedicated to you alone. Next year, you will be transitioning to the world of secondary education, and you will no longer be sitting in these single class units. Instead, you will be sitting in multiple classrooms with multiple teachers teaching you specific and special subjects. You will no longer be confined to standard subjects like language, maths, and science. Rather, you will now be introduced to a system where you are presented with options that you must choose from. In order to choose effectively, you must have some idea of where you want to end up on your journey through education. Therefore, you must give some thought to your career goals. What is your career choice? How far do you want to go in your field? What do you need in order to succeed? You know, when I think about these things, it reminds me about making a cake. When you are about to make a cake, the first thing you have to think about is what kind of cake are you going to make? Are you going to make a carrot cake? Or are you going to make a chocolate cake? Is it going to be a cherry cake or a plain vanilla cake? You need to make that decision before you go to the shop. Similarly, before you embark on your journey through secondary education, you should have a fair idea of where you want to end up in terms of your career. Don't let anyone fool you into telling you that you are too young to make a decision. You are about to start a system where you will have options, and what you choose will have an effect on your career path. And so just as you need to know what type of cake you're making, you need to know what is your career choice. When we are making a cake, we have to be careful. When you are making a cake, you have to be careful because some of the ingredients that you will find in your kitchen look very similar, but they are different. For example, if you have a container with salt and one with sugar in your kitchen, you have to be careful not to take up the wrong container, because who wants a cake made of salt mixed with butter? Wouldn't it be better to have a cake made from sugar mixed with butter? Both items look similar, but they are very different. Similarly, we have almond essence, which is clear and white, clear, I should say not white, clear. And we have vinegar, which is also clear, but we don't want our cake flavored with vinegar now, do we? No, we would want our cake flavored with almond essence. And then there are some elements that are essential to the successful making of your cake. Something like flour, you can't afford to leave it out. If you put in too much, your cake is going to be as heavy as a rock. If you put in too little, your cake will not come together. It will be very oily. And then there is an element like baking powder, which seems to be a small amount that we would put into our cake, but if we forget that little drop of baking powder, our cake will never rise. Similarly, in your educational journey, there will be subjects that seem to be similar, like the sugar and the salt, but they are very different. So you may have food and nutrition and home management coming together as choices for you to make. Food and nutrition, home management. Which do I choose? Do I choose food and nutrition? Do I choose home management? Which one will help me better in my choice of education? If I want to be a nutritionist, then I should choose food and nutrition. If I want to be a chef, it might be better for me to choose home management because I will learn about how to manage my kitchen as part of the home. Additionally, we said there are some items that are critical to producing cake in a successful way, something like flour, which is instrumental. You cannot afford to mess around with your education, just as you can't afford to leave flour out of your cake. It must have flour if it's going to become a cake. And then there are the small items, like the baking powder. We can refer to that as your homework. Don't neglect your homework. It may seem like a small detail, but the success, your success as a student, will depend heavily on how much attention you pay to homework and to reviewing your work. As I told you before, your work system is going to be different. You won't be having the same subjects from one day to the next. So you may have one subject on Tuesday, and you won't see your teacher again until Friday. So you have to make sure you review your work between Tuesday so that when you go to class on Friday, you are ready. Okay? It may seem like a small step, but like baking powder, it is essential to the success of your cake. Okay? So I want you to think about that. So as I told you, at the DOE, we believe that the best way to prepare you for the job market is through education and training. Because there are some issues that have confronted us in the past when it comes to education. And we need to attack those issues head on. So what are these issues? We have had some problems with our people securing employment in the tourism sector. This is a reality that we hope to put in the past. We have recognized that there is a need for more targeted training and education to ready our people for the workforce. We need more policies that look out for and protect our locals. And we need to ensure that our people have a better understanding and appreciation for the nature of the tourism industry. This is why we have decided to introduce you to the Hello Tourist program, which you will be starting in 2023 and continuing into 2024. Okay? Now, we're going to take some time and we're going to look at the elements of the program that we have put together for you. Okay, before we look directly at the program, I just want to share with you the historical vision for the labor force, which is what came down to us from the father of the nation. He once said famously, "Anguillians shall not be a nation of busboys and maids. Anguillians shall not be a nation of busboys and maids." Now, he did not mean that there was something wrong with being a busboy or a maid. He wasn't saying that at all. What he meant was that Anguillians should aspire not only for the entry-level positions, those low-paying jobs, but they should also aspire to become a part of the management field, whether as a manager, a general manager, or a middle manager, or a supervisor. Okay? So, what did he say? Anguillians should not be a nation of busboys and maids. One of our former premiers, Mr. Victor F. Banks, he said something similar. He said, as leaders, we have to create opportunities for our people to be trained to take up a range of professions and trades, both of which are important to our national development. Our people must aspire to be owners and managers, not just renters or laborers in our own country. So this afternoon, I'm going to ask you, how many of you here are dreaming about owning your own business? Put your hand up high if you are. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. That is something to be encouraged, for that is the vision that our leaders have for you as the members of the labor force of our country. One of our former parliamentary secretaries of tourism, the Honorable Cardigan Connor, he concluded that one mark of our nation's success will be when our children and young people see themselves as eligible and qualified for any position in our tourism industry. And this, he said, would be achieved through quality education and training. Now, we turn to today and the current vision for the labor force. The Honorable Minister of Tourism, Hayden Hughes, has made it clear that the development of the nation's children and young people is at the center of any policy positions and decisions that this government takes. Okay, so we see this vision continuing from the past into the present and no doubt into the future. Our Premier, the Honorable Dr. Ellis L. Webster, has reiterated his government's commitment to the development of our nation and its people as he ushers in an unprecedented era of investment with a focus on long-term growth and the strategic allocation of resources. So what is the focus on? The focus is on long-term growth and the strategic allocation of resources. So let us look now at the 6 elements of HT24, and you have them on your bookmark, which you received today. The HTP24 begins with your class lessons. Your teacher will be sharing with you from the curriculum on various aspects of tourism in Anguilla and around the world. You will also, number 2, have class visits by the TEC, which is the Tourism Education Coordinator, who is myself, Candice Niles. I am the Tourism Education Coordinator, and I will be visiting your classroom to talk to you about tourism as it relates specifically to Anguilla's context. You will also have an opportunity to work on what we call individual projects. Each of you has a skill that has been given to you from birth. You were born with a skill. And you will have an opportunity to explore those skills in such a way as to use them to generate additional income for yourself through the field of tourism. We refer to that as the individual project. You will also have an opportunity to work with the members of your class on what we term the group project. This is a project that you will work on together, focused on care of the environment, conservation, and aesthetic enhancement of your school premises or some other area that you will decide on in accordance with your teacher. Okay? So that is the group project. Everyone must work on the group project. So we won't have just this group over here working while this group stays over here and has fun and enjoys themselves. No. Everyone must play a part in the group project. Clear? Great. And then we will have a test. The HTP24 test will take place at the end of May to see how much you have learned. Okay, so you have to be paying attention to what is said in class, what is taught by your teacher, what you have learned from your individual project and your group project, and all of that will come into play on your Hello Tourist assessment. And at the end of the program, as a reward for all of your hard work and your dedication, you will be given an award. It's called the HTP24 Award, and it is a time where you will get to spend one night as a tourist at a sponsor hotel. You will spend one night as a tourist at your sponsor hotel. So you'll be having a sleepover at the hotel. But this is not a sleepover like one you do at camp. You are going to be a tourist. Okay, so you have to come prepared for your overnight stay with your overnight bag. But it won't be only the overnight. You will have to come prepared to go to dinner on that night. And then the next morning, after breakfast, you will be taken on a tour of the island where you will see your island through the eyes of a tourist. Okay? On that day, you will go through the island. You will see things that you never saw before. You will learn things that you never thought about before. And at the end of the tour, you will have an opportunity to swim at one of our wonderful beaches, because that is what tourists do when they come to Anguilla, right? Okay. And at the end of the tour, while you are at the beach where you will swim, you will also have lunch there. You will have lunch at one of our beachside restaurants, and it will be taken care of. You won't have to pay for it. I know I can see some of you saying, I don't know about that, you know, but it will be taken care of. This is an all-expense trip covered because it is your award for doing a wonderful job. So, after lunch, you have to complete an evaluation. For me, however, that's some work you have to do. It's a short evaluation, about 10 questions, where you'll tell me what you think about the program, okay? So it's not hard. And then you go back to your hotel, you relax for a little bit, and at about 3:30 or so in the afternoon, you'll be picked up, and that will be the end of your day as a tourist. So, now that you have a fair idea of what you can expect from the Hello Tourist 24, I want to invite some people to come forward and share with you some reflections on the Hello Tourist Program 23. And the first person I will call is a hotelier who is actually the sponsor hotel for this school, MVPS, the Anguilla Great House, and Mr. Will Fleming is the general manager of the Anguilla Great House. He will come and talk to you a little bit about his perspective as a sponsor hotel. Mr. Fleming is also the president of the Anguilla Hotel and Tourism Association, who is one of the key supporters of this program. So he will come and share some insights with you now. Thank you for welcoming him.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So you guys are excited to get started on this Hello Tourist program? Yeah. All right. That's okay. Okay, so as Candice mentioned earlier, that I actually have two hats here today. I am president of the Anguilla Hotel and Tourism Association, the association that actually handles the private sector version of Anguilla's tourism. But I am the GM of the hotel that is sponsoring this school, the Anguilla Great House Beach Resort. I'm sure you guys will have a chance throughout the year to learn more about the hotel, but most importantly, you will get a chance to visit the property, sleep at the property, and learn more about tourism through the eyes of the Anguilla Great House Beach Resort. Now, what do you expect, based on what you heard so far, from the Hello Tourist program, if anybody can say? You don't know what you're expecting so far? Yeah, for example. And anybody else? Yes? So the Hello Tourist program is designed to give you guys an introduction to tourism, to understand what Anguilla tourism is all about. So by embarking on this program, you will have first-hand experience of what tourists go through, expect, experience in their vacation in Anguilla. Now, we are hoping that once you understand what people expect in tourism, when you enter the job force, you are prepared to deliver that experience as well. Now, many of the kids who went through the same program are now working in hospitality, are working in tourism in some form or fashion. I remember during the pandemic, I met one kid who was delivering food to the hotel, said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "No." He said, "I stayed at your hotel for the Hello Tourist program, and because of that, I want to be part of the industry." So I'm expecting that by the end of this year, and when you go into high school, you would have an idea of where you want to go in the tourism industry. For example, do you want to go in culinary, be a chef? Do you want to be somebody at the front office meeting people? Do you want to enter into entertainment? Do you want to get into water sports and doing tours and guides? Or do you want to own your own business that is going to be providing service in the tourism industry? So this is what the Hello Tourist program is all about, helping you prepare for a career in hospitality. Okay, so enjoy this year, and I look forward to hosting you at Anguilla Great House. Hopefully you guys come prepared for swimming, because we got a big swimming pool. Hope you come hungry, because we got a nice restaurant. The last class had really enjoyed the seafood pasta and steak, so we look forward to you guys coming this year. Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Thank you for sharing. And now, It gives me great pleasure to introduce a very special guest to this afternoon's presentation. She sat where you sat just last year. She was a member of grade 6, and she's now a brand new student at Campus B. And I present to you Ms. Zaya Sasso, who will share with you on some of her thoughts on the Hello Tourist Program 2023.
Good afternoon, 6th graders. I am here today to talk about the Hello Tourist Project. No, I was just in grade 6 like you are, and I can well assure you that the Hello Tourist Project is filled with lots of fun. But first, there's one important thing you must know: behavior. Behavior is key, and so is attentive listening. If you listen, you can pass all the tests that will lead you to go on your Hello Tourist trip. Hello Tourist is built upon our main industry, tourism. With our beautiful island, tourism is important because it is our main industry. So they came up with this program so that children would understand the value of tourism. Throughout this program, you will have a lot of fun and lots of places to go. You will go on a hotel overnight stay, but in order to go on that stay, you will have to pass tests and also do 2 major projects: your individual project and your group project. Your group project is making something with your whole class that resembles Anguilla. Now, all this hard work does pay off because it has rewards. For the individual project, the top 3 students from each school will have another overnight stay, and at dinner on that night, the top 3 overall students will receive a token. The top 3 schools for the group project will receive a trophy. So Hello Tourist is actually fun and educative, and I hope you enjoy your Hello Tourist stay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Zaya, for that wonderful representation of the Hello Tourist program. Does it make you feel even more excited about doing it? Yes. Wow, yes, you heard from your hotelier, you heard from a past student of this school, and now the student told you there are 2 things that are very important: your testing and your behavior. Now, I haven't seen any evidence of misbehavior amongst any of you students here this afternoon. If I were to ask Teacher Crystal, would she be telling me something different? Yeah? Oh my goodness. So, let me tell you from now, we are at the beginning, at the launch of the Hello Tourist program. And at this point, whatever bad behavior you have been engaging in, we are going to wipe your slate clean. So everyone starts off on an even keel today. So you have to make up your mind. If I want the Hello Tourist Award, I am going to behave myself. I am going to stop giving Teacher Crystal trouble. I will not go and see Teacher Estelle anymore in her office, because I am going to be on my best behavior. Okay? Is that something we can agree on? Yes? Okay, great. So now we're going to wrap up. And before, oh gosh, I'm sorry. So during the program, thank you very much, Zaya, Rescue. During the program, we're going to spend a little time looking at some tourism pieces. If you look at your bookmark that you received, you will see that we have people, industry and income, environment, culture, experiences, and service printed on your bookmark. Those are some of the areas we are going to be exploring. Okay? Together, they spell the word pieces. Okay? So I want you to remember that. You will use the word pieces to help you to remember. Okay, so here we are, testing. The father of the nation said something. Do you remember what he said? It's on the screen in front of you, but some words are left out. What are the words that are left out? Anguillians shall not be a nation of busboys and maids. Wonderful. Busboys and maids. What did he mean when he said that? A or B? A, those jobs are not important, so we should not be doing them. Did he mean that? No. B says Anguillians should not aspire only to lower level positions. Okay, so when you guys go into the tourism industry, what are you supposed to aim for? To become what? To become a what? A high position like what is a high position in a hotel? Yes? No? Yes? Yes? A boss, that's right. You aim to become the boss, but in a hotel, it's called a specific name. It's called the general manager. Do you remember Mr. Fleming said he is the GM, the general manager at his hotel? Okay? So you have to aim for that as well. Okay? You may not be the general manager, but you can become a supervisor. Okay? You're in charge of others. That is what you should aim for. Okay? We don't aim for the trees, because then we may fall on the grass. We aim for the sky, and that is the limit. Okay? Zaya, you might have to come and help me here again. Sorry, I want to go to like 18. So, yeah. Former Premier Banks, he said, Anguillians shall not just be just renters, laborers, or employees in their own country. People must dream of becoming what? What must you dream of becoming? To become an owner. Dream of becoming an owner or a manager of your own business. Okay? So again, we want you, our leaders are telling us we need to aspire to go higher. Okay? Oh, wow. I don't want to do that. Okay, I did that one already. Oh boy. Former Parliamentary Secretary Cardigan Connor, he said, "A mark of success for Anguilla as a people will be when our children see themselves as eligible and qualified for dash position in the tourism industry." Which one? Management? Those are all excellent answers, but he didn't limit it to just that. He used a tiny word with just 3 letters. It begins with the letter A and it ends with the letter Y. So any position in the tourism industry, that is when we will feel that we will have succeeded, when you feel you can occupy any position in the industry, okay? And that will happen when you are properly trained, okay? Now, this is what Premier Dr. Ellis Webster said. His government is committed to the development of Anguilla and its people as he ushers in a period of investment which will focus on short-term growth and the strategic allocation of resources. Is this true or false? Did he say that? What did he say? What did he say? Yeah, it's false. It's false because he did not say, there's one word in there that is false, but it makes the whole thing false. You're right, guys. It's short term. He said he was focusing on what type of growth? Long-term growth. Long-term growth and the strategic allocation of funds. Okay, I think I have another last question for you. Mr. Hughes, Minister Hughes, said the development of the nation's children and young people are at the heart of any decisions and policy positions of the government of Anguilla. True or false? True. Yes, yes, that is exactly what he said. Okay, now let's see. Oh. Which one of these is not true? Now, this question you may not be able to answer because we did not do that part of the presentation. We would like to show you, however, I'm gonna give you the answer. So we have here that there are 4 projects currently being pursued by the government of Anguilla. One is National Green Open Space Project. 2, improved fishing techniques. 3, a swim with the dolphins project. And 4, an aquaculture and hydroponics project. Now, which one is not right? Which one is not being pursued? C, you are right. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. You guys are on the ball. Years ago, we did have a swim with the dolphins project here, but it no longer exists. But we do have a brand new National Green Open Space project. Ms. Harris, can we get the video of the green open spaces? We're going to share that with you now so you can see what is happening on Anguilla as we look at greening our investments. Okay. We were trying to show you some pictures of the National Green Space. They saw it? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So that is something that we have to look forward to visiting, okay, as students. And so now, I just want to close by acknowledging the contribution of some important people to this afternoon's event. Our communications officer, Ms. Carla Harris, Mr. Kyron Webster of Clean Stream, oh my goodness, Mr. Kyron Smith of Clean Stream, Mr. Justin Schillingford, the systems technician with the Department of Education, Ms. Con Hazel Fleming, the technology integration coach, all of our IT teachers at our 6 primary schools, the principals, deputy principals, and staff of our 6 primary schools, but especially of the Morris Vanterpool Primary School, who hosted us for this launch event, Mr. Clark of Clark's Nursery, who is responsible for the beautiful foliage that you see here, High Tech Science and Designs, who is responsible for the bookmarks that you received for this Hello Tourist launch, all other participants in the launch event, and I must make special mention here of our 2 guests on stage with me, Mr. Will Fleming, the GM of which hotel? The Anguilla Great House, which is your sponsor hotel, and Ms. Zaya Sasso, who is a former student of the MVPS, who sat exactly where you are sitting right here last year as a member of HTP 23. There were 2 other guests who were supposed to join me on this program, but actually 3. And we apologize for not being able to bring them to you, but we will certainly do so in the future. Those are Teacher Tricia, who is a principal of the VPS school, Teacher Akila, who is a grade teacher, grade 6 teacher at VVPS, and the Honorable Minister, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Sustainability and Innovation, Mr. Merrick Richardson, who will address you on projects that are being pursued even now in keeping with the theme for World Tourism Day. And now you guys will look at your bookmark and share with me the theme as we close. What is the theme for today? You have to say it loudly so that you're captured on this mic, which is in my hand. So say it loudly.
Tourism and green investments. Invested in people, planet, prosperity.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.